Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you here today. And if you don't know me, I'm Vanessa Humes with ICND. ICND is a web development and digital marketing company that specializes in getting your company more direct bookings. And I've been in the VR space for over 10 years now, so I'm really excited to be here, even though this is definitely a time that I've never seen before, but I'm excited to talk about some opportunities that we're gonna bring forward to you. And I've got Greg here with Global Innovations and Solutions Group's NEC Display Solutions with the GuestView Guide, and he and his colleague Chris asked me to do this webinar with them, and so I'm really excited to present these ideas to you. So Greg, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Vanessa. Hey everyone, Greg Fiorot. I'm on the sales team, part of the NEC Display Solutions. We're under the whole NEC umbrella, and I'm responsible for sales for the GuestView Guide, which is a digital experience, digital concierge. Behind me here, 23-inch display that it sits on the wall in your vacation homes. I'm also looking forward to today. Vanessa has been part of this industry a ton more than me. This is probably my 5th month, so I'm looking forward to learning not only from Vanessa, but also from each one of you and going through the webinar today and reviewing all the content. So thank you for your participation.
Awesome. So just to start off, we have some housekeeping. You know, if you have questions, we will do our best to monitor them, but just be advised that we will definitely take a look at them at the end and try to answer them. There is a QA box at the top of your screen, or it might be below, and I'm going to turn my video off so you guys can see the presentation. But that QA is a great place for you to put questions in. Please interact with us. Again, I have it open. I will try to take a look. You can also put things in the chat if you're having issues connecting, or maybe the screen's frozen or things like that. But for the most part, if you have questions, try to keep them in the QA. That'll keep us organized and to get to them. We are recording this webinar, so you will be able to view it online. So we'll email that out to you following the end of this presentation. And then GuestView Guide is putting together an ebook for you as a guide to help you explore these opportunities and get them into place. So, you know, regardless of you know, GuestView Guide or ICND, these are ideas that you can put into action today. So we hope that you learned something, that you're able to take away some ideas, and we would love to talk to you following the session. So without further ado.
So thanks, Vanessa. So Vanessa and I will go back and forth on some of the slides. And you're seeing on the screen some key topics for today. And the first one is near and dear to all of us. We're in challenging times. We know vacation rentals hit rock bottom in April, but now we're on a rebound, which is great news. However, even as early as last night, we're hearing concerns with COVID-19 cases spiking in regions across the country, in the Southeast specifically, and in Florida. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and what we believe the new normal is for the short term and medium term. Additionally, unemployment is at record highs, and there's many layoffs, unfortunately, happening across our rental business, our rental industry. So we're all feeling the increased pressure to gain more revenue more than ever before. So we're going to show you some new ways to make that lost revenue back by getting more guests into your vacation units, making some incremental money by selling first and third-party services and or products, and saving money with less support calls. So as we go through that, we would love to see some questions in the chat, and we'll get to those throughout the day and at the end.
So the new normal, obviously the world has changed a lot with the pandemic, the political landscape that's going on, the protesting, and just everything that's going on in the world. A lot of companies saw a lot of revenue loss during the spring break, during the different shutdowns, and when there was restrictions and stay in place orders. And through that, they've made some tough decisions to lay off staff and make adjustments to budgets. Obviously, I'm telling you things that you're experiencing as a vacation rental manager, but just to assure you that, many of the vacation rental managers are feeling the same pressures. And so we've seen recently, on a positive note, a big surge in reservations, mainly from drive markets and feeder markets that are within a day's drive to these destinations. And we're seeing less international travel or even fly market travel. It's still a bit scary to get into an airplane, though some people are doing it, so it's still a small opportunity. But there is a big opportunity in many markets, especially those with large homes or smaller condominium complexes, to promote a safer, more spread out, less shared accommodations. And amenities, less shared amenities. And VRMs are doing a great job in communicating this, as well as their increased cleaning procedures.
So this slide, to Vanessa's point, you can see the rebound. This is a chart by AirDNA that illustrates the real low point of COVID-19 and our economic pressures of today in that middle of early April timing. But now we're starting to see a rebound with higher bookings than earlier in the year. We've tripled our rental bookings from April 5th to mid-May. And I'm sure the latest graph will even show much more of a dramatic increase, well over 1 million up to date. So timing is now. Timing is great to capitalize on increased bookings as we head into the heart of summer and into fall. And keep in mind, it's not too late. People are booking reservations not months in advance like we all probably used to, but weeks in advance. And especially those with extended cancellation policies are getting the higher level of booking. So we do see the rebound, the bookings are coming back, and it's really time to invest in some of these opportunities we'll show later in the presentation, where you can earn more from every guest stay.
Yeah, time is definitely of the essence, because of the loss of spring break. There's a lot of pressure on companies to make up for lost revenue this summer right now. So especially with the unknown of what's to come later this year, we just, I wish I had a crystal ball to predict the future, but nobody can really do that. So this is our moment to shine. And I think that, like Greg was saying, this is why we wanted to come at you guys now with these ideas, because you've got heads in beds, and why not be able to maximize your revenue from this big surge in rentals. So, with that increased revenue pressure, we're seeing increased competition from OTAs. You'll hear me say that a lot. That's Airbnb, VRBO, Expedia, the online travel aggregators that are, putting together all of the different rental options. And, they're looking to get their share of the market and the bookings. So then you've got some discounting to maintain occupancy. A lot of these companies may, just need to pull in people from a market that doesn't have as much demand as, say, the East Coast right now. And some companies are more sophisticated. They're using data and revenue management, so they might be seeing some higher prices, but still that pressure to get people in with the surge. At the same time, we have maybe a lower operational staff. A lot of folks I've been hearing from are having struggles with housekeeping staff, making sure that they want to come back, they feel safe. Same with guest services and reservations. So there's increased pressure on the entire team to be able to market, serve these guests, clean, and then the higher cleaning costs. So how does that fare with everything that you're dealing with operationally? And then, of course, there's the future with uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen in the fall. We don't know if the demand is going to be there then as it is now. Will people have the time or the money? Will there be restrictions put in place, spacing guidelines and things from the government to ensure that stays are safe? We just don't know. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but we want to make sure that you have the tools and the ideas to survive and thrive.
So how do you thrive? So number one, prepare for the unexpected. No one can predict the future. And every channel we watch today says something different. So now is the time we should prepare by strengthening your financial position and foundation on how to handle these new challenges. Another way to thrive is start selling services like checkout, like a late checkout. It's found money. For as low as $30 to $50, people will pay on the spot to stay an extra hour or two as to not rush home. And keep in mind, this leads credence into what Vanessa said, that we are seeing an increase of drive-to vacations versus fly-to. So in the past, we had to catch a flight and you had to get out of the property. It's not so much anymore. Another opportunity to thrive is selling services. So both first party. So those first party services, and we'll talk about this later, are those that you fulfill, like as the PM, like a late checkout or a mid-stay, or selling third party services like tours or bike rentals or umbrella and chair rentals, where you may get a cut or a percent, and this is really becoming the new way and the new way to thrive in working with your local partnership companies around the area. And last, but certainly not least, is getting customers to rebook directly with you versus the OTA. This will not only save you money, but also will improve your review scores as we strive for that 5-star rating or minimally that 4.8 Superhost rating. And we'll get into this in a little bit more detail as we go through. So driving more profit. Today we're going to talk about driving more profit in 3 ways: increasing your occupancy, selling services, like we said, both first and third party, and saving money by a reduction in support calls, leveraging the GBG. For today, we'll focus on number 1 and number 2 a bit more to get your guests to spend money while they're there and come back to you. Now we'll turn it over to Vanessa to talk about getting more guests.
Yeah. So right now, it might feel like you are drinking out of a water hose, taking those reservations and servicing those guests. And a lot of people will say, we're shooting fish in a barrel right now. But, you know, even if you're drinking out of a fire hose or shooting fish in a barrel, it helps to either have a bigger mouth or a more accurate gun, you know, to be able to really maximize that opportunity. And so one aspect as it applies to vacation rentals for getting new guests would be your website. So now and in the future, it's really important to have a good conversion-focused website to help you drive more bookings and more direct bookings. And if you don't have what the consumers are looking for, they're likely to go somewhere else to book, especially right now with the operational struggles that a lot of VRMs are communicating to me that they're having. There's a huge increase in the voice channel, and the length of call is certainly extending. It seems like a lot of folks are, you know, calling a reservationist and keeping them on the phone with more questions as far as what's open and what are the restrictions and do I need to wear a mask, and it may be more questions, and it may be some people just need to talk to people. They've been isolated for so long that they just want to hear a voice, and a friendly voice, and that's what you've got those vacation planners for, is to be that great friendly voice of your company. So, but having your website with that information, places that are open, recent updates with travel guidelines and things like that, communicating that and organizing that on your website, cleaning procedures, what you're doing to ensure that the previous guests and their germs are no longer active, or what processes you're going through, the checklist and everything that your housekeeping staff goes through to ensure that your guests are safe when they come in and stay into your properties. So your website is a great communication tool and something that you should be utilizing for sure to get that information in front of those travelers. But what's really important, so, again, I want to focus on things that are important now, but also in the future. So, if somebody comes in through the OTAs, or they're doing a search on the OTAs, and say this is me, I'll just give you a real world personal example. I like to go out there. We live at the beach. We're right outside of Myrtle Beach. So my family tends to like to go to a mountain destination, which is perfect right now. It's outdoors. So I'm going to look for a private home that has a lot of space. We can space out and a ton of amenities. So if I go and I want to look for a private pool, is that something that is on the OTAs for me to be able to search for? Or if I search pool, is it going to also bring in any property that has a community pool? Well, I don't want anything that has a community pool. I don't want to search through each listing to see in the pictures if there is a private pool versus a community pool. I want that to be something easy for me to be able to search for. Same thing with game rooms. I want something that has specifically a pool table and an arcade game. So if just game room is listed, it doesn't allow me to be able to see. I've got to click through to the pictures. It takes a long time to search. So if your website has that search criteria and your reservationists are great people to talk to as far as getting what people are calling to figure out, put that information on your website and help lower that call volume and give your consumers a resource in your website to make that booking direct with you. The other opportunity is through booking abandonment. Now, a lot of people already have the booking abandonment email set up on their website. So if a guest comes and starts filling out their information, but abandons that booking, then we can send them an email saying, hey, don't forget, you abandoned your booking. This property has been looked at 32 times and we want to hurry and come back and book now. But one thing that I see missing on a lot of websites is the fact that we have a ton of mobile traffic coming to the website. And mobile conversions are definitely on the rise, but still we tend to see in most markets that the highest conversion rate on a booking is done through a laptop or a desktop. So say I'm at work, I'm taking my lunch, we'll say, and I'm searching for a vacation, but I need to wait until I'm home. Or, I'm on the road, I get your email at the stoplight, but I'd really like to go back and look at this with my husband or my girlfriends or, whoever I'm traveling with. So this Remind Me to Book allows you to select the number of hours. So, hey, I'm going to be home in 3 hours. Here's my email address. And it'll send me an email saying, hey, Vanessa, you're looking at this property. Hurry, come back and book. So again, you're getting that lead. So that email address that can go into your lead lifecycle emails and also, to market to in the future. And then they're getting a reminder to come back and another chance to book. Which leads me to get the lead. I know you probably don't want to hear this right now because your reservationists are swamped. The last thing they want to do is take a look at 100 leads that came in the night before and respond to those. But they are opportunities. And I really do feel like come the fall or the threats that come to the travel industry that may have us slow down, we may get to a time where we're begging for these leads. So it's a great time to get these things up on your website. So of course you have requests for more information on every property. Another one that we have is ask a question, which is like when you're shopping on Amazon and looking at a certain product, they can do the same thing. They can look at your properties and ask a question like, does this property have a Keurig coffee pot? That's usually not something that you would list as an amenity or even be able to see that fine detail in a picture. So they can ask that question and then you can answer it and allow other people to see it. It gives you great content that you don't have on the OTAs. So that unique content makes you more of an authority on that specific unit. So as people are typing in that unit in search, hopefully your website will show up on top. And you're again collecting a lead. New, which is this is a new feature. I'm sure you guys have seen Google flights and their price alert notifications. So this is the same thing. Now that a lot of our industry is practicing revenue management, our rates are fluctuating due to availability and demand. So they can put in their information, you collect that lead, when they're wanting to stay. And if that price drops, we'll send them an email saying, hey, Vanessa, this is a great price, you should book now. Or if the price goes up, we'll send them an email saying, hey, Vanessa, that price went up, you better hurry and book for, your dates and availability for your dates are really popular. So always throwing that urgency at the consumer to give them a reason to act now, which obviously in this day and age, it seems like they're acting now, but maybe just at the last minute. Which brings me to another feature that we've been working on a couple months ago, but I can't think of a better time to have this in place. It's a property cancellation notification, especially for areas that have home markets, like on the North Carolina East Coast. Say me and my family vacation to Outer Banks every year, and there's a specific property that we're looking at, and we want to go book it. If I go on there and it's booked, like a lot of these properties, I can put in my name, the dates I'm looking for, the property I was looking at, and then your reservationists know a lot about that client already, right? They know the dates, they know what type of property, they know it's a 3-bedroom oceanfront with a private pool, and then they can find another property and suggestively sell them into maybe a property that's struggling to get those rentals because it's new to your program. So a lot of opportunities for collecting those leads and working those leads, and even some automation in there too. So if this property does get canceled, there's an automatic email that gets sent out to the guest saying, hey, your property's available, hurry book. So, of course, bookings are surging faster than cancellations right now, which is a great thing, but you're still seeing some of those cancellations come through. So why not maximize that opportunity? So earning more from every guest stay. So that's the second part of it, right? What can we do as vacation rentals to ensure that we're maximizing getting more from additional guests that we have? And right now, that's super important. So stay with us here. I know this is hard, and I know that a lot of vacation rental managers have thought about this before, but they can't think of what exactly they should offer. Well, think about what adds value or even convenience to your guest. That's something that they don't need to tote with them, a beach cart, things that can really make their experience better. And of course, that has a positive impact on your brand, right? Awareness, we've got to get these products and services that you have to offer in front of them in many ways. Think about when you're going through a grocery store, and of course they put the essentials in the back so that you have to walk past everything in order to get to what you actually need, so that hopefully you have some of those impulsive buys along the way, right? So for us, we want to hit them while they're on your website and booking. We want to hit them in, pre-arrival and during guest stays. We want to hit them while they're there with things like the Guest View guide, and we want to hit them all along the way. So having the awareness and multiple times offering is great, and making it easy for them to do it and fast, convenient is also an important thing. One other thing that's really important, and I know that Greg's going to touch on it too, is also just being part of the community and being able to offer some of these services that your local businesses are offering really gives you some positive exposure with your community as well, knowing that you support these businesses and you support the community, and that your business is bringing business to those small businesses. I know that's a lot to say, but I hope you followed it. And in a time when restrictions and different legislation's getting passed, and we have to be advocates for vacation rentals, having that positive impact with your community is definitely something that goes a long way and gets you more people behind you. And Greg's going to touch on that more in a few minutes. But on your website, here's some ideas. A lot of you guys are doing these already. A lot of the softwares are making it even easier for you. Before, we had to build a module to allow you to put in the name, the description, the picture, the pricing, and then when that booking was made, they knew their total, but we were only able to charge the actual rental, just the rental, and then you'd have to put in the add-ons additionally into the software. Now, that's coming through many of the APIs that we work with. So this makes it really easy. Things that you can add are like the early guest check-in, the late checkout, which I'm sure with all the cleaning procedures that you're going through might be a struggle. But you've got pet fees, you've got here's some other ideas as far as the Sun Lovers package with 2 chairs and an umbrella, or like I mentioned with the beach buggy, that one of the reasons why I don't go to the beach that much is because my husband's always working and I don't want to have to lug everything by myself, but a beach cart makes it pretty convenient. Boogie boards, things like that, things they don't have to pack that take up a lot of room in these smaller SUVs that we seem to have these days to be more gas economical, things that you can offer as a convenience. Maybe you have these things sitting in a storage room somewhere or a storage building out there. You should definitely take the opportunity to make some money off of it. Other ideas would be travel insurance, of course. I know pretty much everybody I talk to offers travel insurance. Cancel for any reason insurance is something that Kim from Big Bear was telling me about, where she offers this in addition to travel insurance, where maybe she takes 10 to 15% of that rental if they need to cancel, but they can cancel for any reason. Damage waiver, or a lot of people will call it the Protect My Vacation damage waiver, where if there's an accident in the house and my daughter spills red wine all over the pool table, I'm protected. And then of course those pet fees. So how many dogs are you bringing? Here's X amount for each pet that you're bringing. Now I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Thanks, Vanessa. So keep in mind, this section is earn more for every guest stay. And here is the Guest View guide. This is a digital concierge, 23-inch, amazing guest experience, 23 by 10 inches by 2 inch, high definition touchscreen display with beautiful art mode, screensaver mode when not selling your services. So keep that in mind. It's an amazing guest experience. Number 2, it's a great way to make money by promoting revenue generating services for your bottom line, selling ads for local restaurants, selling late checkout, selling mid-stay cleaning, selling discounts to nearby attractions and events. And third, it's a way to save money by saving time with a reduction in support calls and service calls. And how many times do we get a phone call that says, I can't figure out how my remote works, or I can't figure out how to turn on the heat. Now there's a self-help tool tutorial button that you just click on the GuestView guide and it walks you through everything. So think of all the time you're saving, which equals to money saving for the GuestView guide. Now the next slide is how we earn more from every guest stay. The next few slides are going to give you some examples of how to earn more from every guest stay. And we're going to look at this from really all stages of the vacationer's journey, from pre-arrival on the website to what Vanessa spoke to checking in and during the day, each day of their stay, leveraging the GuestView guide. And hopefully when they check out, and I'll keep saying it, hopefully when they check out, maybe with a late checkout, making you extra money. On this slide, there's a few examples to earn more money, such as the mid-stay cleaning and storage luggage or other services. We call those first-party services, and I'll reference these a little later. They are those first-party services that you, the PM, fulfills. And don't be afraid to offer the late checkout. It's found money. I know a lot of vacation rental management companies in the past gave it away. We have a customer up in Savannah, Georgia, called Savannah Luxury Rentals, I'll speak to in a little bit. He has sold over $300 in late checkout in the last month. He's never changed it. He's never charged a late checkout in the last 10 years, and now he's charging $20 to $30 for a late checkout, and he's happy. And the guests are clicking on an easy click of a button. The PM approves it, and all of a sudden there is the guest is allowed to stay for a couple extra hours. So there's many ways to earn in the guest stay. One example, like we talked about earlier, is a late checkout. So this is just one example where some customers base this late checkout on the fee, on the average daily rate that they choose, or the number of hours that you choose. So maybe 1 hour could be $30, 2 hours could be $50, 3 hours maybe $75. It's you choose. One customer told us that they make over $100,000 in revenue from selling this, which is amazing. And finally, as I said earlier, it's extremely simple. It's just a click of a button, requesting it to the PM. The PM approves it, and it's all completed by way of Stripe and credit card integration from your mobile phone. So it's incredibly intuitive and incredibly smart, and works very fast. On the next slide is selling. The next example is selling third-party services. So keep in mind what we said earlier. First-party service is something you fulfill. Third-party service is something someone else fulfills on your behalf, and you get an affiliation cut from that. There are many ways and many examples to sell third-party services from pre-arrival phase through checkout. Some of them that the GVG team has seen success of is selling trolley tickets in Savannah, Georgia, where Sam, our property manager up there, literally has a screenshot on the GuestView guide that says, if you would like to take one trolley tour for one adult, click here, or 2 trolley tours for 2 adults and 2 kids, click here. It automatically gets sent to the phone for approval. And then he leverages that approval or that confirmation on the cell phone to get onto the trolley. So it's an amazing experience. He sold close to $200 worth of trolley tours in the last 2 weeks, which is fantastic, and never thought we could do that. We have another company up in Utah selling ATV rentals in Utah, whether they're snowmobile rentals or ATV rentals in Utah and Oregon, very outdoorsy area, where once again they're making money and earning money from every guest stay. Another opportunity is working with local restaurants and getting maybe a $10 or $20 a month for promoting their restaurant on your GVG, where the guests potentially would get a 5 or 10 dinner benefit, dinner discount benefit, where this not only helps, to Vanessa's point earlier, the local merchants in the area, and now that you're partnered with them, it also helps your guests. So it's a win-win all around. So we're going to show you a couple more of these in the next few slides. Here's an example, a little quick example on a third-party affiliation. So I'm sure you have relationships with your local merchants. If not, you should. You should start that. Whether they rent bikes, rent chairs and umbrellas for the beach, or sell tours. And now is the best time, in light of these economic pressures and situations, to partner with these merchants and have a really good relationship with them. Here's an example of a bike store down the street where they would deliver these bikes to your family of 4 for $120. You, as the PM, would get $18, or approximately 15% of that cut, in working closely with this merchant. So you can see here that there's a common thread of working in the community of your local merchants, local advertising on the GVG, as well as your first-party services that you sell, like Make Checkout. In the next slide, so what I mentioned earlier, Savannah Luxury Rentals sells child and adult trolley tour rides in Savannah, Georgia. I personally have never been to Savannah, Georgia. I hear it's incredibly lovely there, between the ghost tours and the trolley tours. So this trolley tour, in this case, Old Savannah Tours, loves the idea. They're getting trolley bookings from the guests, and they will offer the PM a portion of that revenue. Savannah Luxury Rentals here takes 20%. That's their cut. They're advertising Old Savannah Tours in the property, and it's simple request and click on the button where you purchase the ticket. And it's a win-win for Old Savannah. It's a win-win for Savannah Luxury, the property management company, is a win-win for the guest. And like I mentioned before previously, the transaction is incredibly simple by way of using Stripe on the checkout on your mobile device, where that confirmation code could act as an entrance ticket into the tour or the museum or any local activity. Here's the third of many ways to sell and make incremental money, is leveraging those relationships you have across the board in the area. Another top partner of ours is Cozy VR. They're out of Texas and Maryland, and they're selling 2 tastings, complimentary wine tastings, and a 15% discount on our purchases in the Cross Mountain Winery. And this is just a recommendation that Cozy had, that they're working very closely with. And again, it's a click of a button, click on that blue bar, send offer details to your phone, and that's all you need. And you walk out of the vacation home and you have everything right there for you as you go on your little wine tasting tour. And then fourth, and certainly not last, and which is very important to all of us, is rebooking and leveraging the GVG. This rebooking ad shows up multiple times on the home screen, which is the screen to the right, in a screensaver mode, where all your ads, all your services, all your pictures of the area rotate every few minutes. And as I mentioned before, this easily promotes and derives direct rebookings. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, why would I book in advance, a year in advance? I don't know what's going to happen with this economy or COVID. Well, it's great to think that way. On the other hand, is maybe offer a 20% discount for rebooking, and then offer that cancellation policy where you can cancel up to 30 days of rebooking. That's a year out, so 11 months from now. This also eliminates those OTA and other fees. It drives guests to your website or a reservation agent, and it promotes rebookings on the home screen and checkout, as I said earlier, and allows you to cross-promote other amazing properties you may have that the guest has yet to stay in. So now I'll turn it over to Vanessa about driving direct rebookings. You're on mute.
I knew I was on mute. I couldn't find the button.
There you go.
Let me back up. So I put together this this graphic for us because I think it's really important to show you how, you know, especially how ICND and you know, services like GuestView Guide really play well together. So of course, with new business opportunities, we always want to try to get new guests. So, you know, you have the OTAs and you have search engine optimization, SEO. So targeting people that are searching for Destin, Florida vacation rentals. Same with pay-per-click. And, you know, even going further in different searches. And then you have social media ads and social media marketing to some extent with influence marketing, you know, as far as being able to get others to be able to share their experience with your brand. But social media ads, of course, you can set up the lookalike audiences, targeted audiences, retargeting ads and things like that. So, you know, we're getting new business, and then we have the guest stay, and that is really about the branding and guest experience, right? So you work really hard. Generally, the new guests are where we're spending the most money and advertising dollars. And a real world example, which I love to give you guys, is I was looking for a summer vacation for my family, and it was going to be my family and my brother-in-law's family. And we were having issues with getting the right week to sync up between when I could take off and he could take off. And we, you know, we're waiting towards the last minute of things. Things were booking up. I wanted to look online. I tried the OTAs, and then, you know, I would go book direct with a company. And so I was doing a bunch of different searches, wanted to make sure that we had those specific amenities we already talked about, found a great rental. Can't tell you the name of the company that we booked with. Purchased the rental, got the email confirmation. We'll send you a text when your property's ready. Great. The text was unbranded. Again, no idea. We punched our code lock into the door, had a great time. The property was amazing, had amazing amenities. It's a great, quiet neighborhood. It was up and coming. I say quiet, there was construction everywhere. It wasn't quiet, but it was a small, quaint community. And left, never got emails from them telling me come back and book. And again, you know, I could have booked off the OTA. They're lucky I didn't, and I'm savvy enough. Most people aren't that savvy to be able to find that property directly and use a different email address than what's logged in with VRBO. Book direct with them and never heard from them again. So, you know, GuestView Guide and in-home different software that allows you to keep something rather than a guidebook, keeps your house clean, right? You can't clean a guidebook and things like that. You need to, right. But you can clean, you know, one monitor, one display, and it allows you to keep getting your brand back in front of that guest. This is the home, this is the name of the home, and you're renting with this company. And, you know, then it goes into the different things that you should be doing, like the guest lifecycle emails, your promotional email marketing, making sure that the guests that have stayed with you follow you on social media so you can be sharing the pictures of the beach, the mountains, the lakes, retargeting ads to ensure that you're retargeting. And I think we mentioned the guest lifecycle emails. That would be like booking anniversary, and, you know, different ways that it is acceptable to target and re-hit them up. And then, of course, all of those efforts are going back to your website that should be easy to use and get that direct booking. So that's really how, you know, everything gets driven into redirect bookings.
So let's talk about prioritizing and promoting services. We've talked about a ton today. We only have a few slides left, and we certainly want to open for some questions. So if we could advance to the next slide. Prioritizing the opportunities. This chart shows the many opportunities and associated with dollar impact. So the dollar impact is on the left axis of how much money you can make relative to the effort on the bottom axis. I think that's the x-axis if I did my math, if I learned math and anything. That's effort, or how much money or how much time you put into making money. As an example, something that is high impact, making you a lot of money with low effort, easy to do, that's where our focus should be. That's where the focus is, in the upper right-hand quadrant. Both GVG and ICND provide these opportunities and make it very, very simple for you to achieve your goals throughout the process. So we certainly encourage you to reach out to us after this and love to talk to any and everybody about some of these opportunities to learn more about GVG and ICND. The next slide, I think at the end of the day, before we close, we want to make it easy. We make it easy for your guests to find and buy your services. On this slide, which is somewhat of an eye chart, focus on the green part of the slide, the lower portion of the slide, and the lower left-hand corner that's blue highlighted. The age of books and guidebooks and paper flyers and phone calls and emails, they're still here. They might be going away a little bit, certainly the guidebooks, because as soon as you print them, they may be outdated and they're hard to clean, but they always may be here. But as we transition to an area of flexibility and being more nimble in a digital age, the bottom four highlighted in blue, the phone apps, the tablet, your website, large format, the digital concierge display like GuestView Guide, with yeses across the board, that's the way of the future to earn more money from every guest stay versus everything on the top part of the screen that's white with a lot of no's. So we look forward to partnering with you in really the next iteration of the experience, this digital experience on the web or when the customer is in the home. So let's work together to earn more from every guest stay. So with that, we'll talk about some takeaways. So we have, do you want to handle that one?
Yep, sorry, I keep clicking around. I keep trying to unmute myself and clicking around.
No worries.
Yeah, so just to kind of wrap things up, again, we really appreciate you guys joining us for this webinar and hope that you can see where our heart was coming from, especially with the influx in revenue. This could be our chance this year. And certainly I do feel like we will get to a point where there's some normalcy, or we just evolve and adapt and it becomes the new normal. But right now, there's such an opportunity for you to be able to maximize the revenue that you're getting off each guest. They have the money, they want to spend it, they want the convenience, they want the value. And so we might as well give them every opportunity to spend that money with us, right? And then we want to, you know, what's easy for you guys? And we can help determine that by some conversations. But realistically, you know, even if you don't offer many services, having that convenience of the information and making sure that your website is working properly and offering the services that you need so that you can get just a better experience with your brand. And so that alone will improve your bottom line, but these are actually actionable items that you can take back and earn more. And so we hope that you will select a few and try them out and see what you can do to expand that in the future. So if you guys have any other questions, we are certainly here to take those questions and answer them. And then also GuestView Guide has some special offers that Greg wanted to go over with you.
Yeah, and just to close too on Vanessa's point, you know, I've only been here doing this and for 4 or 5 months, and I've been loving it. I've been loving it from the standpoint of, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm giving back to the small business. Everybody on this phone has a small business, whether you have 5 properties or 500 properties, and times are tough. We get that. And if there's a way for us to show you and prove to you the value of the Guest View Guide, we're here to do that. So the first special is you buy 5 or more, you save 10%. That is our bulk special. The second one is if you buy 1 to 4, you get an extra 90 days no payment, so first 3 months free. And this is an opportunity where give it a try. You know, we are not on a yearly contract. We'd like to have you there for the year, but give it a try. Let us prove the value to you. Let us work very closely with you in those first 3 months where you're making back that only $34.99 monthly payment in late checkouts, or working with your local merchants or local vendors. And then a show special that is only for those on this phone call, where if you buy 1 or 2, and we're limited here, you get the Guest View Guide for $20 a month for a full year. Now, I have a limited capacity of these, and we're only allowed, and if there's limited quantities available, we're only allowed 2 per VRM, but give it a, try it. I think you'll be very successful for the money you're making, the money you're saving by reducing in support calls, and also guest delight. It's a fun, cool, interactive display that really takes the place of your guest book. You don't need guest books. You don't need any paper flyers around your house anymore. So any interest in these, please reach out to me on email.
So we did have one question from Caroline asking about if the price alerts and cancellation notifications were sent automatically, or if they were something that the reservationist would have to go in and answer. And the answer to that is they are automatic. And I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. The way that the logic works for both the price alerts and the cancellation notifications is we're looking in the property management software for changes in the price or availability of those dates. So they were booked. If they become open, then we'll send that lead an email saying, hey, your property is now available. And of course, you have to make some additional changes in there. Like if that guest is already booked, we don't want to send them an email about that. If the guest is booked, we don't want to send them an email saying that the price is lowered. So we have some of those fail-safes in place to ensure that if they have booked, then they're opted out of that program. Yep. And there's also ICND has the guest life cycle with the eval trigger. So to allow you to set up your pre-arrival, post-departure emails and things like that, lead nurture, all those emails and leads that come in off your website, you're able to set up those automatic emails, which makes it a little bit more easy for your reservationists so they can actually get somebody who's a warm or a hot lead to deal with rather than somebody who's still just shopping.
Any other questions or comments? We have about 5 minutes left, and we do want to be sensitive to everyone's time. I don't know if this opens up where they can talk, or do they have to chat?
They do have to chat. If you raise your hand, I can click on you to allow you to talk. If anybody wants to come on, and you can figure that out in your controls, there should be like a wave, and I'll be able to see you. But if not, again, we sincerely appreciate you guys coming on. And I will send this out in an email so that you can share it with your colleagues, share it with your team, see if it's something that you can quickly get into place. And we're here to help. So we appreciate it again, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Greg.
Have a great week. Thanks,
You
Vanessa.
too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.